Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of The Thief and the Necromancer here on Actual Play. My name is Strash. I use he, him pronouns. You can find me on the internets at StrashA on Twitter. Um, and tonight I'll be playing the Necromancer, which is one of the two eponymous characters having shenaniganery. I believe we are in a tower of a star-eating wizard. So, that's a thing. And we're looking to rob him. I think we're trying to steal a magic book or something. A grimoire. Yes, that's right. Luke, say hi. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello, my name is Luke. My pronouns are they, them. I am a game designer. I used to teach children history using RPGs, I guess, but now I'm a public servant. Uh, and that is most of what I do with my life nowadays. Uh, I'm having a lovely and quiet weekend. Uh, how about you, Lauren?
Hey, I'm Lauren. I use she, they. Today I am playing Morgan, the thief, who is very nimble and a bit patient, kind, and inventive, but it's not good at either of those things. I don't know. She has a cool dragon tattoo that was put upon her by her oppressive family. She was a lawyer in the previous session too. We got to see some high sea lawyering going on in the court lot. That was very fun. Um, Very excited to see how this goes. And then I heard during the preamp chat there might be some like real estate business to be had to after we get this grimoire. So I'm looking forward to all of that. How are you doing, Judd?
I'm well, thank you, Lauren. My name is Judd, he, him. I play games. I was here last night playing Burning Wheel with Sean, and I had so much fun. I'm back to volunteer, and I podcast at a show called Daydreaming About Dragons, and type out thoughts on a blog called Githyanki Diaspora, and I'm ready to see what happens when the Thief and the Necromancer try to figure out how to steal a grimoire from a star-eating asshole wizard. Let's do it.
So let's just go over what happened last time because it's been a couple of weeks. I remember that we stopped by an island and there was a tower, and we discovered that my necromantic senses revealed that there was like a skyship docked.
That some wild shit was going on.
Yeah. I mean, wizards. Am I
There
right?
was a tower, like a narwhal horn. It was eating the sky. There was a sky ship. Some stars had been being hunted. Blood was falling in the sea. It was a whole thing.
Yeah, I was boiling the sea. I remember the blood was astral, but the effects of it were very physical. I don't remember why we were dashing up the tower, though. I do remember that it was a staircase that can't be seen. It was just... I'm sorry, what?
There were birds.
There were birds? Tell me a
You were
little more.
spotted by the invisible birds.
Oh, right.
Guard
Right.
of the wizard's tower. And so fled in through the front door.
That's right.
And I think, taking off my volunteer hat for a moment and just being Luke, a player, I think because what I'm about to say is not within my scope as a volunteer. I do think there's a question here of like, one of the cool things about this game is that like it's a new session, which means that we need a new spawning circumstance. That's how the game works. And so I am curious, Lauren and Strash, like, what part of this stealing a grimoire from a wizard do you care about? Because like we
question.
can frame that through the spawning, right? Like the spawning circumstance could be having stolen the grimoire from the star-eating wizard. We are fleeing back down the invisible staircase. We just skip everything that happens in the tower. Like, how do we escape? That's a perfectly valid.
Lauren,
Or like, I have my knife at the wizard's throat, and we are, haggling over the price of the grimoire. There's a million different ways that you two get the power to kind of frame how we open this. Now I will put on my volunteer hat again and show.
That's a great idea. That's good stuff.
Lauren, how you feeling here? My personal like gut take here is that an escape might be fun, or we have just picked up the grimoire and then the wizard appears and we're gonna like play through that. Like maybe that's a good spawn.
Yeah, I think the former sounds pretty fun. Like sort of cutting to the action with like getting the grimoire. Unless it's like some fun complications you can think of about like getting to that point.
Let's see if I can. I gotta find the only problem with this game is finding the thing that I need on a dime. Looking for spawning circumstances right now so that we get the pattern right.
Right. We could have. I have them in front of me right now.
Tell your volunteers that. ...
You hold in your hands the grimoire of the star-eating wizard. And then...
Did he have a name? I'm sure we gave him a name. Let me fucking have a look. Let me see if I can dig this up. Where's my copy of the
once we find the grimoire, I'm sure that we will find a name. But till then,
I was gonna say, tell your volunteers that you're perfectly innocent, and then
we are absolutely not.
I don't remember the game saying you get to lie to your volunteers. I don't think that's a rule.
Oh my gosh.
I'm looking at my notebook, and I'm definitely paying for the fact that I keep my game notes and my errands and my work notes and everything all in one notebook. And
It's not that bad if your index is really good. Do you bullet journal, Judd?
I do. I just don't do it well yet.
Talk to me later about threading, because I have a million tips on it.
Awesome.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Let's. All right.
Yeah,
so
the wizard's name was almost gabapentin, and I was like, no, that's the painkiller my cat is on. That's not a wizard's name.
I do have a suggestion.
Technically,
name. It was Kendovan, the Sky Eater.
Nice.
There you go.
Well done.
Oh, that's right, because we pulled it from the barbarians.
This is the benefit of picking it from lists, because then you can find it again.
Thank you, Vincent. All right.
I found one we could maybe adapt to our current situation.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's the trick to it is just to get the pattern right. The actual words are less relevant. So,
I kind of like the idea of maybe twisting. Tell your volunteers that you're bothering no one, which is true. And this, I don't know. We could twist that too. But like, I like the idea that what does it say? Tell your volunteers that you're bothering no one and attending strictly to your own business. The thief keeping watch, the necromancer intent. In a courtyard of tombs at night, when you're set upon by unprovoked by a dream swallower.
Well, we are absolutely bothering someone because we've just stolen a wizard's grimoire. But we can say that I like the idea that the thief is acquiring it from some. I'm reminded at the beginning of Conan the Destroyer, so I love like a room full of mirrors, and the thief is like somehow solving that puzzle without looking directly into a mirror, while the necromancer is keeping watch. I think I have perhaps necromantically locked the door to this room, which is when stuff is going down. How does that feel, thief?
That sounds fun to me.
Awesome. So is that where this chapter of the book begins? The sound, the birds and such are being kept outside, and I've trained my necromantic senses on the door to make sure that we are not disturbed. And you're lifting the wizard's book from the center of this mirror maze.
That sounds fun.
Awesome. So yeah. I believe the pattern of this game is we do a thing, and then we can ask our volunteers what we see, etc. Do you want to exert yourself to try and filch something, or is this like?
Can we just like sort of scene setting questions? Just to sort of
go
like tacticity. Sure.
Yeah, I think we are meant to do that as part of the spawning circumstance. So that's
absolutely.
Okay. Let's see. So I really like the idea of this like sort of being a mirror maze or like some kind of like physical acrobatic thing that the thief's like, I got this. It'll be fine. So I guess what does this particular puzzle look like at first blush?
I don't know why you would assume it would possibly be a puzzle. I'm sure the wizard's grimoire is just sitting right there, totally undefended.
I I've definitely got ideas. Lauren, can you tell me a little bit in order to flesh those ideas out? Lauren, can you tell me a little bit about when Morgan left the thief clan that
Ooh.
that he was a part of, that he grew up
She.
in? She
Yeah.
was a part of.
Yeah, totally. I think we've like kind of established that it was a bit of an organized crime family in some
Yeah,
capacities, where
yeah.
we had lawyers and people that were sort of like kept on the family's retainer for getting out of trouble in court and stuff. But I think there is also that element that sort of because like Morgan did suffer like a lot of physical abuse and sort of like emotional and other kinds of abuse at the hands of her family. So I think it's that sort of duality of like they've covered all their bases. they're quite physically violent. They're quite like well entrenched into the culture or town that where she grew up. So I think for her, she probably very badly tried to fake her death to
Okay.
get away from her family. She probably like for some reason I think she'd suffered like a pretty bad night. I would go into like I would dwell upon it, but I think like
Yeah.
she was at a point where like she'd had enough, and then she was like, "Screw this! I'm going to use everything that they've taught me to get the hell out of here."
Cool.
And I want to be able to like sort of be able to enact my values that I've learned from my family without causing the pain and stuff that they've inflicted upon people. I think she laid out a nice crime scene as best she could at the time because she was a bit naive then, and acrobated out the window, like down several stories, and just like it's like fled. And I don't think she really knows if like her family bought that situation or if like they're trying to find her. But I think she just absconded into the night, kind of thing.
Cool. Awesome. So I think as you walk into the mirror maze puzzle, from the corner of your eye, you see your reflection, but it's clearly other versions of Morgan that made different decisions that night.
Oh,
And so like
cool.
you see one who put away those values and just became, the matriarch of the family's like right hand, and like, and suffered that abuse and just weathered it.
Ooh, can I add a cool detail?
Yeah, please.
So like Morgan has that back tattoo of she has like a dragon back tattoo that was non-consensually put upon her. It's like the sign of her family.
Yeah.
I think like that version of her, the matriarch, kind of has like sort of dragon tattoo like coming up like a collar kind of thing, and like
Oh, awesome.
like covering her like face a little bit.
Yeah, love it. And then I think there's another one in a different reflection who killed your mother and took over. And I think like in that one, like you can kind of like, and I don't know, you said something that made me think that you're trying not to look directly at the mirrors, but I think in that one you can kind of see that like, oh wow, I really kind of do look like my mom. Like you can see, like you really can't see it in yourself that much, but in this one, who like took on that life, you can kind of see it. So like there are like two reflections of you kind of moving through the maze with you a little bit, and there are probably more as you go. And you can see them see you, and be shocked that like, oh wow, that's me if I left,
Okay, I did turn to Strash the player.
Yeah.
And say, just let you know that like upon seeing this, I think Morgan is pretty curious to explore more of these facets. And despite immediately having gone into this going, right, we're going to get through this puzzle, we're going to like get the grimoire within 3 seconds, it's like, oh crap. But like I could learn more about what could have been. Did I make the right choice?
I don't think that I don't think that Garen actually like Garen's so used to like mystical traps and things like this that he probably doesn't even realize. Whoa.
Sorry, that was my phone.
But what I'm trying to say is like, I don't think he realizes that this is like a danger. I think that he glances back at you periodically, but unless you're like touching a mirror and halfway absorbed by it, he probably trusts you to do the right thing, unless you want me to try and do something, in which case I don't actually know the rules for acting against a character, because if you want to go diving into one of these mirrors, I think there's a rule for trying to stop someone or
It
something.
mentions it somewhere.
If it helps, I think what it looks like is Morgan catching sight of that first reflection and kind of growing a bit still, and like her face kind of relaxing a bit.
Yeah.
And I think like this is a side of Morgan that Garen like probably hasn't seen that much, because Morgan's very like, take my blood, like whatever, fuck, like I don't care. Like it's a bit. But I think it's like a rare time where she's like quite contemplative and goes inside of herself. And I think Garen can see Morgan's eyes. Like, I don't think she's moving, but her eyes are definitely wandering the room to try and catch other reflections of herself.
Oh,
Nice.
I don't have a good trick for this. So I have no exertion. There is nothing in this game that allows me to necessarily dictate your answer, your actions. Like, I could try to seize you with unreasoning fear or something, but I don't think that that's appropriate. Or at least I would not do that unless you're about to die. So I think that yeah. So I think I abandoned the door that I have somewhat feebly warded there with a necromantic lock, and I think I realizing that you know you're focused on the wrong thing. I think Garen just says, like, you know, like it's there's no magic to it. I think he just like whisper. He does that like room whisper where he's trying to get someone's attention, and it's like really like sharp, so you're just like, Morgan, but like there's nothing else to it. It's not like magical or anything. It's just words. Does that help? Harm? How do you react?
I think like when you do that, this is gonna be creepy. I apologize. Morgan,
Never apologize for being creepy. Go on.
I think Morgan turns her head towards you, but it is totally like the way her mother would, and I think that.
I don't know your mom, so go on.
I think that reflection does as well. Like when you try and get my attention, it's like you get mine, and then like a split second later, that like her reflection sort of like does the same. I think I say I think I blink at you and like shake myself a little bit. And so like what's wrong?
No, I think Garen realizes what's wrong, but is trying to be not tell you that, you know, what to do. So like I think he just says like careful, or actually what he asks, he says, are you okay? Wizards traps like this can be tricky.
I would love to ask our volunteers, like, what is that? So I think like Morgan has her back to that reflection. What is the reflection doing?
Oh, okay.
Great question.
I've got ideas, Luke. What do you?
Which reflection is it again? Just to.
It's like the matriarchal one with like the dragon tats.
Like, yeah, right. Okay.
Like,
the boss
type fun. I think like Flemeth.
lady.
Yeah, I think like Flemeth from like Dragon Age, kind of aesthetic.
Judd, if you have an idea, I would be delighted to hear it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the matriarch looks over your shoulder and sees the necromancer and has no idea who that is. And the idea that when you left the family, you would find someone who you could trust is so alien to her that like she can't place, you know, who that is. And so I think it's just, I think she's just looking over the shoulder and just like trying to make sense of it, right? Because she knows who you are. Like she knows that like on that night where everything felt like too much and you decided to take on to you know, take the Thief Clan as your own, this is you if you just faked your death and left. And it's not within her, understanding to know that, like, oh, you'd go out and make a really good friend and you'd be able to trust them. Like, that's just not, it's just not something she can even imagine, right? So yeah, I think she's just like looking over and like just trying to like make sense of that.
I think we see that that reality of like our deep friendship kind of manifests as like Morgan takes a step closer to like towards the Necromancer, and I think having been snapped out of it a little bit, has enough sense to ask like. I think like she even like does like a little bit of a chuckle, because part of her is terrified this is true, and part of her wants it to be true, because at least then she'd know that she made the right choice in leaving, and asks, like, what? This is magic, right? Like, this is.
Yes.
Is it bad magic?
No magic is bad magic. The distinction between light and dark is nonsense that only the church cares about. Uh,
Oh, that's beautiful.
I think what you're asking is it true? And I don't think so. I think it's just echoes and possibilities that go through your mind. One of the reasons necromancers do what we do is because the things that we do are etched upon the soul. If you truly want to know, I can look, but now may not be the best time.
I think like Morgan's shoulders like sag a little bit, and you're like, now it's not the right time for this.
Out of character, I do have a spell that allows me to know a person's like secrets and have like my spiritual tutor interrogate their soul / subconscious. So I can actually like read a person on some like super deep level. But so I'm telling the truth. I'm not making up bullshit. I'm telling you literally something I can do.
I think like
but go.
Morgan can't. She can't get her mouth around like it. Yes, please, let's do this. I think like you see that shine of like hope or curiosity in her eyes, and you get that sense that she's kind of like vibrating a bit with. This could be a thing where I could learn more about myself.
Yeah, I guess. I don't have any rituals for finding out things that you don't know, but there are things that I can find out that you do know, or you may not know. But I think Garen just checks with you and is just like, are you good to do this? Do you want to switch spots? Do you want me to try?
I think like Morgan feels a bit bad because like this really isn't what we came here for, and she said like I'm gonna support you to get the thing you need, and like this is all about you. But
oh my god, no.
But
sorry, Strash is chuckling. Garen probably feels terrible, but go on.
And I think she feels weird saying this because like this is a very inappropriate time to like confess anything to anyone.
I don't know. Discussions in a wizard tower are always interesting.
But I think she says, like, the person I understand the least about is me. I've come from this family. They've controlled me my whole life. I really didn't understand who I was outside of them for a long time. And I still don't. I don't know what I want. I like trying to be a lawyer. I thought that was fun, but that's the thing my family did. Is that should I do that? Is that just a thing that I've been taught to like? I don't know. So, I mean, if you are willing, Garen, I wouldn't mind.
All right.
Incidentally, Lauren, just as a piece of flavor, over Garen's shoulder, on the other side of the room in the mirrors, you can see another reflected version of yourself. It's you, and your face is all like purple and swollen, and there's a deep bruise around your throat from where, in some horrible future, your family catches up to you and you are strangled to death for leaving the family.
Oh, that's so good.
I think
Nice.
If that happens, like I think Morgan does like clutch Garen's shoulders quite tightly, and it's like, actually, this might be more important.
Yeah, I think Garen looks at the book that is like inside this maze of mirrors, maybe like 15 physical feet and 1,000 metaphorical miles away, and then like no, fuck it. I think he says like, this room is really bad for you. We should get out of here. I think that's all he says. He says like, we're leaving right now.
I think he said that like the passing terror and fear when as Morgan's thinking like, well, we can learn things. This could be like we might not come back here again. And she's not saying it out loud, but you can kind of like read into that fear. And then she's like, okay.
Over dead Morgan's shoulder, you can see an older, like gaunt-looking Garen, in like full necromantic finery, just incidentally.
I think what you perhaps may not know is that half the time when Garen would look at something like this, there's a gurn between him and a mirror, and he sees nothing. So.
Oh no, like Morgan sees it.
Oh, I get that, but like from like I think that this is one of those.
For you, it's just like nothing.
Exactly. Like I think it's just like when you look at mirrors, you know, like it's that whole thing where somebody sees someone behind them, then they check there's no one there. But like for me, I just see like gurn, right? Like, and it's fine. It's fine. I don't get it. But this room's no big deal, I guess.
And Gurn just goes like. Tsk.
Yeah. Well, I do understand though.
Weak-minded tool.
I think that I care about my friend more than I do about this book, though. So I think I step up to the door, I hold up my hand, I reverse the necromantic lock, I, open the door, and I'm just like, yeah. I just look at you and I'm like, fastest way down.
Gurn is definitely like the critic, right? He's like, a multiversal mirror, that's what's turning us around? A multiversal, what if I had chosen this instead of that? Come on, just walk through the damn maze and keep your head on the floor. What's going on? Just look down. Look at your feet. This isn't this isn't archmagery here.
This is what comes of taking up with amateurs, Garen. This is why we work with our own kind.
I think in unison, like Morgan is saying, like the same, like we can't leave, like we came here for this group walk.
No, I think Garen's already out the door, and he's like, Gurn, you're a fucking dead soul. Don't even talk to me about our own kind. And he just like, he's talking to empty air. He's like, this is bullshit. And he like pulls down like a drapery and is like tying it up into a rope.
You could zig and then zag, and then you could switch her out for that lady with the throat tattoos. She seemed like a professional.
No, we are not changing this world. And I am not going around with an illusion. By the way, I'm talking to like empty air. I'm 100% not.
An invisible bird flies through Gurn and like pecks at your face.
Yeah, I think I just slash at it with some dagger and put that into like a wooden piece of whatever, and just like I'm like, all right. Come on, let's get this down. We're sliding down. We're getting out of this tower. Let the stars be damned. Let the sky turn black. Let's go.
I think if there were any other area of expertise, Morgan would be like, oh, fuck that. I'll do it then. But I think given my taste of necromantic magic, like the snake skeleton we saw in episode 1, the like crab priest, the fact we walked through a dream and almost died doing so, she's like, oh, fine. And we'll join you in rappelling down the side of this tower with some cloth.
Yeah, I think. I think Garen is after you. I don't think we need to exert ourselves to slide down a rope, do we? Probably not. All right. Or I mean, we exert ourselves. We just don't need to roll, I think. Cool. Can we kick open the door and dash through some invisible birds to try and get back to our boat before it leaves?
Honesty compels me to ask the question. Judd, do you think this has taken long enough and the birds have been making enough noise that the wizard might have noticed? I'm not attached to it being a yes, I just think we should ask the question.
Yeah, I don't.
Good question.
I feel like the first thing the wizard would do is check to see if anything was taken,
But we
By
have
the
not.
Hmm.
which you haven't. And then by the time he like figured it out, I think they'd be gone. You know, like I feel like there's.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
All right.
So it's just birds. Just angry, noisy, invisible birds.
Yeah. Yeah, I think. I don't know. My thought is that they get out of here. But
Yeah.
what do you think? Yeah. Okay.
No, yeah, I think that makes sense and feels honest to me.
Cool.
As a player, Lauren is like, that sounds like a sensible, like self-preserving thing one would do. But I think Morgan is like really conflicted about leaving because like no answers were gained, more questions were had, nothing was explained. We didn't get the thing we came for. Like, what the hell?
It was a really great grimoire too. Let me tell you.
Well, maybe you could write it up, Luke, and maybe we'll try it again sometime.
Oh
But
no,
I
no,
think,
it's one of the core ones. I've got it open in front of me right here.
uh,
There was a bright cold morning in the month of the hare and everything. You know,
I have no idea which one it is, but
I'm
that's
just
cool.
taunting Strash. It's
That's
okay.
fine. I don't actually know that one because I know my business by heart, and I read the Alchemist one, but I don't know this one. It must be the one I don't know. No, it's cool. So yeah, I think sort of once we clear the angry birds and we leave behind the strange tower upon the island, I think Garen, like, if you seem agitated and uncomfortable, I think Garen says, like, just looks at you and shakes his head, and he says, sometimes you roll the dice and you take the gambit, and it doesn't always come up in our favor every time. It's okay sometimes to leave things behind in order to gain us walking away safely.
That's when Garen can see like that thief instinct. It's like being drilled into Morgan, where it's like, but we didn't get the thing. And I think Morgan does start sort of soundboarding out loud when you say that, like totally disregarding and ignoring like this really sage advice. And she's like, but what if we found another way in? Like, what if we went up there a different way? What if like we could bypass that? Like, we gotta like, this is what we came here for.
Morgan, we can come back another day if we need to. There are other wizards in other towers. This one is fine. We took our shot, and we encountered something that wasn't something we expected. It wasn't something that we could deal with. I could probably go through that maze of mirrors because I have help, and I gesture at nothing in the air. But I'm like, but it's
Don't
more.
refer to me as the help boy.
But it's. Oh, it takes all my willpower to not like say something super snarky right now. I think you see me like looking at the air. I'm just like,
Good, you piece of shit.
No, it's basically just like, but that's what you are, isn't it? But no, I just nope. Let it go. It's fine. Don't pick a fight with your tutor. That's the worst idea in the world. So yeah, I think Garen looks at you and he says, it's more important that we are safe to try this again another day. And what he says is like, the wizardry that you saw there is not the sort of thing that I can do, but one of the first rules of necromancy is to separate truth from illusion. And as much as people think that ghosts and spirits are sometimes just fairy tales and folk tales, they are the core essence of people's being in a way. And we deal with much more practical things. What you were seeing there are possibilities. They are true enough, but they're not true in the sense that that's not who you are. You are who I see here. The choices that you've made have led you here. What ifs are just smoke and mirrors. They're designed to trick you and confuse you and make you wonder so hard that you are distracted and not yourself.
I feel like while you're saying that, like, Morgan can hear the voice of, like, the family matriarch translate all of that into, like, you're just not good enough. Like, if you'd been better, if you weren't such a shit thief with, like,
Oh, this is a terrible game. What does Morgan hear?
Can I pitch something, Lauren?
Oh yeah, go for it.
Is it the voice of the family matriarch, or is it the voice of the matriarch version of Morgan?
Oh,
As you two walk down the beach or whatever, and in your reflection in the water, like you can still see the alternate you reflected.
I'd like to see that in Rays. And we
thanks, John.
Yeah, we cut to the Star Eater walking into his room with a grimoire in it, and matriarch Morgan, as the fans on the internet call her, when they do fanfic and draw pictures of her, is still in the mirror, and he says, why didn't they take the book? They were right here. And I think like matriarch Morgan says like exactly what like Lauren just had Morgan say. Yeah, she was weak. She wasn't able to face herself. Like all the things that we just heard Lauren say that are in Morgan's head. And he says, what clan are you with? And he says, why do you ask? He goes, they broke into my tower. It's worth a letter. And like, yeah, that's where that little like interlude with the Necromancer and the Thief ends.
I have a suggestion that's not in my best interest at all. But
is it in the interest of fun? In which case, I support it.
If the volunteers think this is an interesting idea, I think Morgan could have like dropped a ring, like a family ring or something like that, upon exiting. Like, I picture her to be.
You get to tell us that you did that. We're not GMs here.
Okay,
like,
it's true. You're
volunteering.
I'm just a volunteer.
You just tell us that and ask us whatever questions you want about what the wizard does with it. And like,
what does the wizard do with it?
Jared, what do you think the wizard does with it?
I think I will say Morgan wears like a bunch of just like rings and stuff, which shouldn't make noise. You shouldn't wear that because it makes too much noise. But I think like.
But that's the point. You're showing off at how good you are.
Exactly.
Also, there can be a cool montage where you like wrap it up in cloth right before you do something awesome.
Oh, totally. Like, I don't want to hurt you that much. Anyway. I think Morgan totally drops like a kind of a small family ring or something when she in the mirror puzzle trap thing. But I think like cutting back to Garen and Morgan, I think like Morgan physically closes her eyes and like sort of pushes that thought back and just like focuses on Garen because like you're saying not scary stuff. And I think it's very hard for her to say this, but she's like, you're right. I apologize. We can come back.
What are you apologizing for?
And she was totally apologizing for not being good enough, but doesn't just shakes her head and said like I'm just sorry I couldn't do that for you.
I think Karen is just like, look, we take the chances, right? We roll the dice. I couldn't save the star. I can't face the full might of the Blue Jade Brotherhood? What are they called? Something like that. The point is that at the end of the day, it's still the two of us, and we still get another chance if we choose to do so. I think that's what matters. You have bailed me out of plenty of jams. Don't worry about it.
Morgan like wants to give you a hug and cry, but it's like like sort of shoulder punch. Like okay.
I didn't realize we were bros, but all right. I love it. Okay. Do we do another spawning circumstance?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Because
I'll-
that feels like a
definitely-
wrap to me.
Yeah, that was a
Yeah.
wrap.
All right, cool. Do you have one?
I
you
am.
wanna- Go
I
ahead.
am though. I would. At some point, I would love to see us come back to that idea of having Gurn interrogate the truths of Morgan's psyche
Yes.
as like a weird therapy session. Not necessarily like right now, but like at some point, that scene sounds great
Oh, totally. That's definitely gonna happen.
because it'll all be filtered through how terrible Gurn is.
Yay.
Fortunately, Morgan cannot hear Gurn, and I am the only person speaking, so Gurn can rail impotently against me as much as he wants.
But also, Gurn can not misrepresent.
No.
Can cast what he,
No,
can cast
Gurn
what he
cannot.
learns in the most Gurn possible light.
That is absolutely true, but Gurn cannot lie, not according to the rules of
That's
this spell. So,
Unless you miss.
no, even if I miss,
Even if you
what
miss.
it does is it terrifies the person. They
Oh,
feel like
yeah.
they're being watched.
Right.
There is the misses on all spells are defined. There is no PBTA miss system
There we
because
go.
the volunteers don't have moves. So, all right.
true.
I am entertained by it, but yes, there are limitations to Gurn's power. This is why Gurn is bound and not free to do whatever I'm not 100% sure of what Gurn's status is.
What are Gurn's pronouns?
I don't actually know. It just refers to them as ghostly tutor Gurn. So we'll figure it out eventually.
Yeah.
Ghostly indicates that it used to be a person, so it definitely something. Definitely not an it, although
How
ghost
long
is-
has
I don't know.
Gurn been a ghost?
I don't know, but
Like, if Gurn has been a ghost for long enough, maybe, like, human gender is like,
Yeah.
we'll talk about it. We'll figure it out next time we see you at Gurn. Like, we can have a chat.
cool. So let's figure out a spawning circumstance here.
We are standing at an auction.
Plausible.
Oh, Grandma's right here.
Yeah, there is a grimoire and a house for sale at the same time.
Yes. Yeah, what sounds interesting to you, Josh? Would you like to sort of pick up like immediately, or give some time?
Do you want a nice calm one, or do you want to?
Get a bit hectic.
I'm open to like it getting a bit hectic. We sort of
Okay.
extensively avoided potential doom in the previous spawning circumstance. So yeah, I'm open for it to be a
Such
bit,
a pessimist, Lauren. It would have gone really well.
uh,
Just no doom anywhere.
Not at all. This game isn't about doom.
Chad and I are kindly and gentle volunteers. Only
I'm just a volunteer. I don't even work here. Not a master, not a moderator.
Oh, this is fun. Let's get vicious, Lauren. Tell your volunteers that you've been performing in a busy thoroughfare all day. So I feel like what happened is our boat has finally reached its destination. We've gotten into a city. We're not going to do the performance trigger again because we've probably been performing all day trying to make some coin to, we've got like an inn room and stuff that we're looking forward to at night. It's been a long dusty day, but tell your volunteers that you've been performing in a busy thoroughfare all day. But as night comes, 4 people approach you, cudgels in hand, to rob you of your day's gain.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah, I think maybe that's what it is we've been putting on a show. We've had a lot of people throwing coins into whatever our version of a hat is. And I think that we've probably had a pretty good day. And yeah, there's 4 people approaching us with cudgels. So I guess let's ask some questions of each other. Morgan, what are you doing at the end of a day?
Definitely being entertained or being an entertainer at the inn that we're staying at.
So,
Like,
I see. Are you, but like, if we're being approached, this is before we go back. Like we can be bantering about what we're gonna have for food or drink when we get there, but like, are you counting the coin? Are you breaking down our stage and props? Are you behind the scenes? Like, where would you be at the end of the day as we're like preparing to
oh,
go?
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like probably wrapping up. I think like, maybe trying to get a little bit more coin as like the very last people who are leaving. But yeah, I think like just trying to do good like debrief in terms of both packing down everything and then also like making sure that everyone has had a good time and like is willing to spend as much coin as possible. Maybe tip us a little bit extra at the end.
So you're making it nice with the like kids that love the tricks and the parents that really want them to leave but also want to let them talk to the performers for 5 minutes so that the kids are happy.
Oh yeah,
All
and
right.
like if there is anyone asking like questions about who we are, there is for sure like a very ill-timed like tale of like, oh yes, we're very famous like adventurers, like we have lots of like to sort of imply that we potentially have a lot of money or like that kind of thing.
Cool.
We visited the tower of a wizard.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me tell you about the giant crab we defeat. Sorry.
Yeah. If there are
Cool.
kids, like Morgan's definitely like doing a pantomime like sort of story about that. Trying like, and it looks like, oh, it's so cute. She's like telling stories to like the kids, but like it's for sure like I to the parent who like has the coin pouch. So all of them are coin little kids.
That's
Cool.
why they call her Mercenary Morgan.
So volunteers, what is it? Tell me, what did these? Are there any identifying marks on these people with cudgels? Is my first question to you.
I have a question in exchange.
Yeah, go.
What is the name of this city?
Uh. Well, the last continent we were on, we had a heck of a lot of cities with gem names,
Jewel names.
jewel
Yeah.
names.
Yeah,
So-
I reckon like different theme, right? Like I think we're far away from our Mediterranean-esque archipelago of weird gem cities and now like weird salt plains.
We're heading
Yeah, like-
home, right? Yeah.
What is this place? We're on the other continent now. What's the other continent like?
I think it's just like maybe it's just like a set of like syllables to us, because like, but like it's a city that maybe has like a meaning in this language.
A language you haven't fully learned yet.
Yeah, I think that maybe we have a pretty thick accent, or maybe we're relying on whatever the sort of universal trade tongue is, in the locale, which is probably better known.
And hence why lots of like there were crabs and like trying to use a lot of
Yeah, right, like acting it out
physical
for the kid.
gesture. Yeah.
Yeah, and like what I suppose like my question is like what is the city like, right? Like because I think until we have some kind of a sense of like where we are.
I mean, it's probably a port
It's a bit-
city.
Yeah.
I like the idea that it's like descending down to the bay, like maybe it's backed by like a hill or like a small like incline. We are probably low enough in it that there's like the smell of fish and sea. It's probably named after some sort of spice.
I think too like it's coastal, but then it sort of not like quickly like sort of extends into sort of a mountainous region, so the weather is like very temperamental, and it's like you're well valued if you have a good read on the weather, or like you're some kind of weather witch or like weather wizard that can like predict that kind of thing, or yeah. And so it could be like very sunny one moment, and then like a storm will blow in like in half an hour. The sky will get very dark and grim, and then once that's through, it's like, oh, it's sunny again.
I think the city is probably named after some notable color. It has like a
Oh, Wonderful, Strash. Let me find you a good color. I have my list here of obscure color
I mean-
terms.
I was thinking something like
Alright.
cerulean, but all right.
We can do better than that.
Oh, we can do better than that. Okay.
Better than that. But you want a blue? Is that
Yeah.
okay? Let me find you a good blue.
I'll also look up. I wrote a game about.
I mean, I'm
What?
actually like. I'm okay with other colors. Like, if we want to say that there's like, I don't know, some like weird reddish purple dye that comes from the shells of tiny snail crabs that live in the bay, and people frequently paint the sides of tall buildings in it. Like, maybe the city is called something like Amaranthine. I don't know.
Oh, I had Rosper was
Ooh.
a color that we made up. And it is the color of the sort of pink dawn bleeding into like sort of blue.
I like it.
I'm into that. Yeah, I think in the local language it means like the city of 10,000 steps.
Sure. Sounds good.
But
yeah.
yes,
We had Rosper like an impossibly peachy blue sunset. That's the color.
Okay.
did we get a spelling for that, Lauren?
Oh, sorry, Rosper.
Fantastic.
Or Globus is rich like smoked gold. If you wanted to be a bit more like mercantile kind of town.
I like Rospa. I like Judd. What do you think?
Yeah, that sounds great. I like it. I like.
we
as-
also had a Wenge, which is disappointing as it sounds.
Judd had some good thoughts about these people
Yeah.
with cudgels.
Yeah, I think they're disturbingly young, but old enough that, you know, cudgels with rusty nails in them are still vexing and dangerous. And you can
So like
see,
13.
yeah, and they've got the outlines of dragon tattoos on various parts of their body. And Morgan knows right away that either they go back to their leader with money and they earned the right to get the rest of the tattoo done, or they get that part of them cut off or
no.
burned off or peeled off, because you can't wear the dragon and not pay. So so you get this is why Morgan has trouble walking away from a job, right? Because if you don't, then it's a bad scene. Drilled in very young. So yeah, they come, they've got like the outlines of those dragon tattoos, but they're not filled in yet. And they I think the biggest of them says, looks like you did all right today. Hand it over.
I think on like Morgan's first. Well, I'll like sidebar. I love that because it very much explains why Morgan was like, "F this, I'm out." Because like, if her tattoos on her back, that's like a very family thing. Like, you better not fuck up. Like, this is really gonna hurt you if you
Right.
screw up. And I think Morgan's first instinct is like, I think she does feel this element of like sadness and pity for them. Like, I don't think she feels like particularly threatened, because from her perspective, these are sort of indentured, or it's like it's not a thing they are consenting to in a way that you can't consent to, because who knows if that was a forced choice or not. So I think like
Yeah.
even though they look quite menacing, Morgan turns to them with like sort of a broad shouldered like, oh, like and what kind of thing, and then like sees them and like sort of feels this is a bit bad. And then I think looks to Garen for Garen's how is Garen reacting immediately?
Yeah, I think Garen sort of says like, yeah, we did have a good day, but you may not if you seek trouble here. I know that it looks like we're outnumbered 2-1, but clearly you didn't listen to our stories. I'm 100% bluffing.
I love it.
Yeah.
But
What?
I am very happy to drive the unreasoning terror of the shrieking void into their puny, infantile minds. Just say the word, and it will be done.
Is that Gurn? Oh hell yeah! I totally have
Yeah.
that spell now. I'm like, no.
If I'm being a jerk, if anyone is saying something jerkish, they're probably impersonating Gurn.
All right, I see it. No. I think Garen is just like, I think Garen just whispers very slightly under his breath, like, let's see which one of them is the leader, and then let's see how well the rest do when they go screaming into the night.
Wisdom for once. Impressive.
I bite my tongue again. I'm like, Gerd, the difference between wisdom and cowardice is whether you want something or not, but, yeah, okay.
Interject a little bit of talking while you look at
Oh,
that
please.
So I think, like, while you said that, I think, like, Morgan is slightly behind Garen and thinks to herself, like, okay, shoot, how, like, what branch of the family moved north? Like, that one did, and I know I've heard stories about that. And I think she just, like, takes a gamble and says, like, oh, let me guess, like, your mom or dad or something, or, oh god, names. It's a good last name. Or for a clan or something.
Stua, I think, is the surname.
Stua, yeah, I think I'm like, oh, like, what, are you, like, Stua's kid, or, like, you from the Stua's kid or something?
Yeah, I think this particular dragon is like what we would maybe refer to as like a worm, right? Like it's got no legs, no wings, just kind of like coily and sinuous and kind of like really nasty looking.
Very cool.
With a big cave-like mouth.
Nice. And yeah, I think she's like, oh, like, yeah, you stole his kid or something. Just like gauge their reaction. Not really think maybe it's not the best idea to be like, hey, I've got knowledge of your clan. tell me about it. Yeah, I think ask, like, yeah, you stole his kid or something?
Yeah, you know that this is a kid of someone important because the outline of the dragon is on their face, right? So
Cool.
Ooh, boy.
yeah, they cannot go back without something, without having a really bad night.
Yeah. Judd, do you think this is maybe like having had Morgan display a bit of knowledge of like of the family, capital T, capital F. Do you think that's maybe the point at which these kids like catch a glimpse of Morgan's tattoo?
Oh, cool.
Like the part where it like peeks out like.
Oh yeah, like it sort of comes up down here and like a sort of shoulder slips just a little bit or something, so you can get like, yeah, that's really cool.
I feel like that's a decision Morgan has to make, is to show it a little bit.
Ooh, yeah.
And also putting out there if any of this or all of this is treading too close to like weird child abuse that you just don't like, we can rewind it, we can edit it. Like just putting that out there, we can change this. So
we are playing in murky waters. So
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I'm good for now, but I will let you know if that changes.
Yeah. Just putting that out there.
And like, I'll send that to chat too. Like if it does start going, I know chat's on a bit of a delay, but if the chat's like, oh, this isn't that great, then we can also rewind.
Yeah.
Some of the chat's involved too. But I think I think Morgan thinks for a second and then does do the sly, like, it's like to show a little bit. I think looking at the one with like sort of the dragon face tat, I think like showing off like, oh, this one sort of, it's in like a place where the dragon face kid could infer that Morgan's likewise somewhat high up.
Yeah. How is your dragon different? Like what kind of a dragon is yours?
I think
Describe a dragon to me.
I think it's like a feathery dragon. I think it's like a mix of scales and like sort of bird feathers. And so like what you see like around here is like it's the tail end of like a very magnificent tail feather, but it has sort of like these scaline qualities sort of like between each individual feather. So there's a little bit of that.
I will definitely go back to the YouTube video and make a screenshot of the joy in Strash's face when you said it's a feathery dragon, because it was.
I was obsessed. Oh, so
it was
like
palpable.
what you
palpable.
don't know is that I was obsessed with like dinosaur dragons for a long time. Like when I was drawing, yeah. So I was like,
Me too.
and then when I found out the dinosaurs had feathers, I must have drawn like 20, 30 pages of dino dragons with feathers. So like they're my favorite kind. Anyway, go on. It has nothing to do with the story or this game. It's just a personal fandom of mine where I was like, you know. It's like when someone's like, and then there were giant robots. I'm like, and so anyway, go on.
But how big were the giant robots?
So yeah, I think I show a little bit to like the dragon face kid.
Yeah, I think the kid follows protocol. The kid says, well, point us at another target then. Like you know, if you go to rob another dragon and that dragon pulls rank, that's legit, but everybody knows that this crew can't go back empty-handed. So then that dragon suddenly has, you know
what? They don't actually. I think Garen doesn't really understand thief politics. I don't know that I've 100% interrogated you about this. So say like,
I don't talk about it. Like,
right, but like he'll ask you like right in front of them. He'll just say like, so what are the rules? Like I've been in cities where you know you have to pay some percentage of your earnings to someone, and I'd rather one of us doesn't bleed here. So like, what if we toss them each a coin? They've gotten something and they can go.
Yeah, and I think Morgan nods at that and asks like I think she assumes them with a sort of like face when it's like their leader,
The lead kid.
the lead kid, and it's like, I think she shrugs and is like, well, what do you need? Like,
And he just looks at you like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And he's like, what? Are you that old that you've forgotten? Like,
and I think like Morgan, it's like so much she deeply wants to just like take them under her wing, like that dear lady going through the McDonald's drive-through, like taking employees and being like, I'll pay you more. Like she like really wants to like.
she's gonna set up a rival guild of legitimate lawyers.
Yeah. But she is torn because it's like this kid is clearly very entrenched in that culture.
Well, it's not even that. It's just that like I suppose like to be clear, like what he's saying is like you should fucking know. Like you should also know the rules are very clear on how much money does and doesn't qualify. And she's like, what? Like I'm the kid here. Like, do I have to explain it to you? Like,
and I think she says like, no, I don't think you understand me. What do you need?
Man, that's
I need
impressive.
5 shillings. Rowan needs 3 pennies. Ash needs 5 pennies because he fucked up in training earlier this week. And then Sage needs 4. Like, come on.
How much do we have? Like, how much of our earnings would that take? Is it some reasonable amount, or is it like the majority?
Judd, what are we doing?
Yeah, I think that'd be the majority.
I think the pennies aren't the problem, the shillings are.
Yeah.
If he weren't the kid of someone important with higher expectations, it'd be pocket change, but like,
Yeah.
you only made a couple shillings today.
I think like Morgan like holds up her finger to them to be like, yes, and I think pulls Garen into like a really close chat.
Like a huddle.
Like a huddle, yeah. And tries to say as quickly as possible to Garen, like, look, these kids are like me. They're stuck in this family. Maybe they want to be there. Maybe they don't. I don't know what choice they've had in this. I don't feel great about giving them coin to take back to their family because I can only assume they're just as shitty as mine. But if they don't go back with something, it's not going to be a pleasant evening for them.
I think Garen hands you that hat and sort of like claps you on the shoulder and says, "These are the earnings for the day. Just make sure we have enough to buy room and maybe like something to eat before we go to bed. I'll see you back at the end. I don't care how much you give them."
Gurn just makes a very disappointed scoffing noise.
Yeah, definitely. You know what those kids have a lot of? Blood.
Fortunately, I'm done with blood studies, so.
It's never a bad idea to brush up, you know, just to keep sharp. Blood can be tricky.
Gerd, I am not taking
have
blood from
other
children.
things. The hair of a child burned is one of the ingredients in making a stilling room boy. And he just kind of like shrugs, like, you get something out of it. I'm just bullshitting here. Like, the book does not describe the procedure by which one makes a stilling room, but I imagine there's
It does,
like,
actually. I actually do know that one. That one I can tell you.
In my head,
Keep going. Yeah, I know, it's fine though.
Ingredients, you know? Like,
I think that I'm just like, I think there are other ways to get this than stabbing children, Kern. Like,
no one said anything about stabbing the little beasts.
You know what? I think the girl says, like, you know, I know you've got the pennies to pay the little ones. Let's just pay them off. And then, sis, you and I will we'll go out in the town and you'll show me how the feather dragons do it.
Yeah, I think when they like speak in, Morgan like swivels around and like has like the pouch or whatever container we're collecting money in. And I think she pushes out enough coin for our night at like the inn. Maybe we'll need to share a room or something, or like split a meal. Maybe I'll forgo ale for the evening or whatever.
don't worry about it. If we were egging each other on during our performances by promising each other that we're gonna have a giant feast with a honeyed whatever beastie they have here, giant lizards they ride or whatever, that's fine. But like, actually, I think the rules of the world is that it's fairly similar. So like honeyed pig or whatever is what we were planning on, and we end up eating some very humble stew and a slice of cheese. I don't think I have a problem.
Oh. And I think like Morgan counts out like the pennies and like those shillings, and then with the leftovers, I think she hands the rest of the bag to one of them and says like, I do not want to see this going in the fucking pockets of whoever told you to do this. Like, do yourself a favor, learn a trade. I don't know. It's just like, take this money. Like, this is for you. Do what you will with it, but please think about what you're doing with your life, kind of thing.
Is there an exertion here?
That's a good point. It feels like the right time.
Can you exert yourself
Like,
empathetically to know about them? There is no exertion to convince anyone of anything.
This could be like a common grace thing. Like, yeah.
By a sideways route, Strash, there is, because one of the questions for empathetically is how could I get them to do X?
Yes,
And if you then
but it is
understand-
tangential. It is reading
like
a person and then you have to do a thing. You can't convince a person to do a thing that they don't want to do in the first place.
I'll just look at some of the grace and calm ones.
Sorry, I have a very adorable cat just off screen doing absolutely everything in her power to get me to pet her.
Yeah.
So there are tummy rubs going on. I'm making sure.
Shout out
Nice.
to the cat.
Yeah, I think grace and calm might help. There is an option that's like I defer to them calmly and at least.
Oh god, yeah, because
yeah.
the thief can't exert themselves empathetically. That's a necromancer special.
That's a necromancer special.
I can if you want to. I'm actually pretty good at that. I'm a very bizarre necromancer. I'm good at. Oh wait, Am I? No, yeah, it's
Zoc
50-50.
would
It's
have
3. It's 3 for me. 3 or less. On a d6, so it's not too bad.
Yeah, if you would like to step in and like give some wise words of wisdom to these
You know,
kids.
I don't, though. I feel like this is really your thing. You should just do this.
It's
So,
some
like, do
life
the best you
advice to
can.
these teens.
And if you can't, maybe just... We can submit to circumstance and see how it goes for these kids. We may have to do an adventure to rescue them next if you really, really insist.
That sounds fun because I'm very bad at talking with common groups. Yeah, no, I think there is an option that makes sense, which is I talk to them patiently and without. Hang on. Oh yeah, I defer to them calmly, do what they require me to do. If their intentions are upfront, they'll be satisfied. Which might, if I ask them like, but no, really, like, do you want to be doing this, or like, like, would you be doing anything else? What would it be?
I mean, and also, like, it doesn't have to be an exhaustion, right? Like, if you want to just ask a question, you can also do that.
Yeah, you can say, like, this is what I do. I try to touch their hearts. I do everything in my power to convince them to seek a different path. What do they do?
Yeah, like...
Yeah.
You always have the power to make me and Judd invent answers to things.
There's also, I explain to them my circumstances and intentions. They'll consider them calmly, and if they judge them to be legitimate, accept them. So like that could fit that too. But yeah, I think my intent anyway is just to try and say like, save this money for a thing that will help you. Do something with it that isn't just feeding into this toxic system and cycle of abuse that like our collective families are involved in. And I'm happy to roll for that.
Yeah.
Is there a role? Like, do you have a thing that fits that?
Yeah, I think the one that sounds the closest is that grace and calm, and if they judge my words legitimate, they'll accept them.
Okay.
Cool.
Rock and roll.
What happened with the roll? What happened?
Oh, sorry. Let's roll it now. That's grace and calm. Grace and calm is
So you're trying to disarm the situation.
inventive and kind. I have a 2 in that, so I need to roll 2 or less. Slash roll 1.
That's 30% chance. It's not or 33.
Not the worst.
Not the worst. It's not good, but it's not the worst.
Less than 2.
So close, but no.
Oh no! Yeah.
So what happens on a miss?
Oh yeah. Sorry, this
This is a
not-
great one.
Okay, on a miss, choose one anyway, but you can't keep your calm. Your hand strays to a weapon, or your voice raises, or you look like you're about to make a run. Ask the volunteers how they react.
You get passionate about it, and they find it threatening.
Yeah, so I think like I do it. Yeah, I explain
Comes
my
across as a little
circumstances.
judgy, maybe.
I think I explained to them my circumstances and intentions. They'll consider them calmly, and if they judge them legitimate, accept them. But I think I do get kind of impassioned. I think like it's the kind of thing where I start talking and then can't stop, and it turns into that kind of like very preachy like.
All of a sudden, you're telling me your whole backstory, and you're like,
Yeah.
and then we were in this mirror maze, and I saw what I could have been. If I stayed in that life, it's going to happen to you.
Yeah, exactly. I think even like, I sort of get it. I pull a bit more and I'm like, you see this? Like, you know what I had to go through to get that? Like, this isn't worth it. You think you want this, but holy hell. Like,
I'm an adult, and I know better, and you don't really want this job.
Yeah.
Totally.
My feeling is, Judd, I think they judge like Morgan's intentions as legitimate, right? Like I think they don't think she's being like disingenuous. They're like, okay, like yeah, you really believe this. I don't think that moves the needle much though.
No, and I don't think I think one of them is a young lady like Morgan, and she steps up and says, "Wow, you must really see yourself in me and where I'm at." Like she like can't keep like she starts laughing, and all the kids start laughing, and they just are like like
they
they
just
just
take the hat and fuck off, right? Like,
yeah, learn a trade.
I love that. I
yeah,
think
damn. If I ever need a lawyer, who'll like tell the court a sob story and get all teary about it, I'll hit you up.
I think Morgan like lets go of the bag and like sort of that's gone, and it's just cannot look at Garen in the face. um, and
they have your hat.
happy. Yeah, they have our hat.
Not only do they have the money, but you don't have the hat anymore too. They took it with them.
And do they just walk away at that point? Like,
Yeah,
like,
I think
okay,
that's-
like,
Oh yeah. They're like joking the whole time. It's like, yeah, learn a trade. Like,
I think I want to be a blacksmith.
or jerking off on the docks for a hat full of money. That's a good trade. She really took her own advice.
I think Morgan could hear that. Like,
Yeah, is
sort of
being a
echoes through the
spooky
streets.
creep like a friend a trade?
Hey now.
Just like-
Leave me out of your goddamn arguments, kids.
I think Morgan.
And Gurn just like disrespectful wretches.
I think Morgan turns to Garen, shakes her head and says, "You should have just fucking terrified her." Maybe that would have worked better.
Gurn says, for once, Morgan and I agree. And furthermore, they're going to mess with someone with sorceress abilities comparable to yours. And that person is going to flay their souls. And it's going to be kind of our fault because we didn't teach them a lesson.
I would like to confirm what Judd just said with the exception that I don't think Gurn uses Morgan's name.
Oh, nice.
I think
I
Gurn just
agree.
always...
Yeah, I agree
She,
with that.
yeah, for once, she and I agree. And it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
capital S.
Oh, that's great.
Morgan,
I don't know. I don't know that Gurn even knows Morgan's name, to be honest.
Not important.
It just keeps falling out of their head. You know?
I agree with our outreach coordinator over there.
you can't change. You can't control the actions of anyone else. You can only change yourself.
On the contrary, I believe before we broke the lock of blue jasper in your brain, you were being very thoroughly controlled.
God damn it, Gert.
This game needed like 400% more Gurn, and I'm totally here for this.
We finally done it. We found the right amount of Gurn.
I forget, like it was like last session or the session before that. I was like, there needs to be more Gurn, like a lot more Gurn, and we're jumping on that with both feet.
What I've suddenly realized is that in the same way that throughout the text of Under Hollow Hills, the Bakers just constantly have one of the characters break the fourth wall and interject, like the Thief and the Necromancer just requires Gurn
Yes.
as commentator on events.
Agreed.
Morgan even kicks the ground a bit. I think she's like legitimately pissed that like those kids didn't listen. She knows what like they're involved in. Kicks the ground and says like, "You're right."
You can't save everybody, Morgan.
I think she says like, I guess I just wish someone had been there before mine got filled in, when there was still some, I don't know, like hope.
You made a decision, but there are many people in your family that have chosen another path. Just because you've made that choice doesn't mean that everybody will. At the end of the day, I can agree with you. I can think that what you did was both brave and smart. But not everyone will see it that way. And no matter how kind you are, no matter how earnest you are, you're not going to be able to convince everyone of that. What you're seeing in those kids is your own pain.
Funny, my mother always told me being brave and being smart were mutually exclusive concepts.
That's not true. Even thieves know when to stand their ground and fight. Courage is not stupidity, it's just acting despite your fear. They're not mutually exclusive either, though.
Let's go eat some 3-day-old stew and watered down shitty ale.
So, this is where I have to tell you the misfortune of the fact that I am like, I think this is like our banter as we're like walking to where our inn is. It's like I have to warn you that the innkeeper probably will be a lot less gentle with me, and I will be a lot less likely to be able to steal whatever stew is available. So, you gave away our hat, and congratulations, you just volunteered to steal us some dinner.
And I think we maybe go out on Gurn saying, like, not that I have any personal stake left in the matter, but eating the 3-day-old stew sounds like the stupid side of courage. Your funeral.
I think if we're getting to an inn, or if Morgan is walking in, like I keep my tongue right, because like I am aware that talking to nothing is weird and I shouldn't do it in front of people particularly constantly. But I think what I say is sometimes even 3-day-old stew 3-day-old stew tastes delicious when eaten with a friend, Gurn. I'm not sure if you remember what that's like.
Well, I don't get hungry and I don't have friends, so.
Oh.
For some reason, I pictured Dwight and Shrew when you said
Oh my god! Yes, Gurn's 100% played by Rainn Wilson. Like... very good.
amazing.
All right, cool.
Cool.
Do we want to take a break?
Yeah,
I was
gosh.
just thinking, like, it seems like a good
Yeah,
time.
we've been up for like an hour 41. It looks like so.
Time really crept up on us.
Yeah, so let's take a little break. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. Gonna make a cup of tea. Stick around, folks. Thanks for your help, chat, and we'll see you in just a few.